Good day, everyone. Today we'll explore one of the most famous and often misunderstood quotes about numbers. There are three kinds of lies: lies, damned lies, and statistics. We'll unpack its meaning, see how statistics can both mislead and inform, and reflect on its relevance today. This quote is most often attributed to Mark Twain, although some suggest it was first used by British Prime Minister Benjamin Disraeli. Regardless of origin, Twain made it famous. In this presentation, we'll examine what the quote means and why it remains so powerful in discussions about truth and deception. The quote suggests a hierarchy of deception. First, we have ordinary lies, statements that are untrue. Second, there are damned lies, which are especially damaging because they are deliberate and harmful. Finally, statistics are placed in the same category, because numbers, while appearing objective, can be used in ways that deceive. Statistics themselves are not evil, but when used carelessly or intentionally manipulated, they can give a distorted picture. For example, data can be cherry-picked to show only the part that supports a claim. Percentages can be used without explaining the base numbers, and graphs can be designed to exaggerate or hide trends. We see this every day. In politics, one survey might be highlighted while ignoring others. In advertising, a product might be called 90% effective, but without explaining what effective really means. Media headlines often pull numbers out of context to grab attention, leaving the audience misinformed. Of course, statistics are not always misleading. Used responsibly, they can uncover important truths. They help us understand social trends, support medical research, and guide policy decisions. In fact, much of modern science and technology depends on accurate statistical analysis. The lesson here is that numbers don't lie on their own. People use numbers to persuade and sometimes to deceive. That's why it's important to approach statistics with a critical mind, asking, where did this data come from? How was it collected? What might be missing? To conclude, this quote reminds us that while statistics carry the aura of truth, they can be manipulated to mislead. At the same time, they are also powerful tools for knowledge. The key is not to blindly trust or dismiss them, but to analyze them carefully. Remember, numbers don't lie, people do. Thank you for listening. I'd be glad to hear your questions or your own experiences with statistics, whether in school, in media, or in everyday life.